I never thought unforgiveness could chain a soul to eternal darkness, but I was wrong. The night my heart stopped beating, I felt my soul leave my body. At first, it was silence, cold, terrifying silence. Then I began to fall, deeper and deeper into a pit where screams echoed without end. The shocking part? I wasn't there because of drinking, drugs, or murder. No, I was there because of one thing I refused to let go of: unforgiveness. The bitterness I held in my heart after catching my husband in the arms of my younger sister became the very chain that dragged me toward hell. You see, I thought holding on to the pain was protecting me, but I didn't realize it was destroying me. And what I saw when my soul fell into that place, I will never forget. Before I take you deeper into this story, I just want to say from my heart, thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting this channel, listening to these testimonies and sharing them with your loved ones. Your comments, your prayers, your encouragement, they mean more than words can say. And right now, before we continue, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your country, your city, even your little town in the comments below. Let's remind ourselves that this family, this community is global. We are warning, learning, and growing together. So please, take a second and tell us where you're connecting from. I'll be looking out for your comments and maybe even mentioning some of you in future videos. Now, let me take you back to where it all began.
My name is Ruth, and what I'm about to share with you is not just a story, it is my life. I grew up in a Christian home. Church on Sundays, youth choir, midweek prayers. I knew the language of Christianity. People even called me a good girl. But behind the smiles, I was broken in ways I didn't even understand. When I met David, my husband, I thought God had finally given me a fresh start. He was charming, hardworking, and funny. Oh, he knew how to make me laugh in ways I hadn't laughed since I was a child. We built a home together, prayed together sometimes, and I thought, this is it, my happily ever after. But little did I know, beneath the surface, cracks were already forming. You see, I was never truly healed from my past wounds. I had a history of betrayal, friends who gossiped about me, family members who turned their backs on me in my hardest times. So when I married, I carried all that insecurity and suspicion into my marriage. I wanted to trust, but deep down, I always feared I would be betrayed again. And then it happened. It was a rainy Tuesday evening, October 12, 2017. The date is forever burned into my memory. I came home earlier than usual from work. As I walked through the door, something felt off. The house was too quiet. My spirit felt uneasy. I climbed the stairs slowly, calling out David's name. No answer. But then I heard a sound from the bedroom. Laughter. My husband's laughter, mixed with a voice I knew too well. My younger sister, Esther. I pushed the door open, and there they were, the two people I loved the most in this world, wrapped in sin, wrapped in betrayal, wrapped in a knife that cut deeper than anything I had ever known. My heart stopped. My body trembled. I couldn't scream at first. It was like all the air had been sucked out of me. Then suddenly, the scream came, like an animal wounded in the wild. David tried to explain. Esther cried, begging me to forgive them. But in that moment, something inside me died, and something else was born. A seed. The seed of bitterness. From that night, I told myself I will never forgive them. Never. At first, I thought holding on to that anger was my strength. I even convinced myself that God understood. I would go to church, lift my hands, sing the songs, but in my heart, I nursed that wound like a pet. Every time I saw them, every time Esther came around the family, every time David touched me, all I could hear in my mind was that laughter from the bedroom. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't pray. My heart grew darker every day. Friends tried to counsel me. My pastor even preached about forgiveness one Sunday, and I knew he was talking to me, but I hardened my heart. No one understands my pain, I whispered to myself. If they knew how deeply they hurt me, they would know I have every right to hate them. But hatred doesn't stay quiet. It spreads. It consumed my peace. It turned me into a shell of who I was. And though I didn't realize it then, that unforgiveness was leading me straight to hell.
I remember the night it happened as if it were yesterday. For weeks, my health had been failing. Sleepless nights, constant chest pains, migraines that felt like a hammer pounding against my skull. Doctors said it was stress, maybe depression. But I knew deep down it was something more. My soul was rotting from the inside out. On November 3rd, 2018, everything reached its breaking point. I had just finished another bitter argument with David. I could barely look at him without feeling rage boil inside me. That night, I locked myself in the bedroom and wept until my body shook. I shouted at God, "Why? Why did you let this happen to me? Where were you when I needed you most?" And then, silence. The kind of silence that is louder than thunder. My chest tightened, my breathing grew shallow, my vision blurred, and suddenly, everything went dark. I felt it, my body collapsing, my head hitting the cold floor, and then the unexplainable. I was floating. I turned, and there I was, lying lifeless on the floor, my skin pale, my lips turning blue. David rushed in, screaming my name, shaking me, crying, but I couldn't reach him. My voice was gone, my touch was gone. I was no longer in my body. At first, I thought, is this death? But then a force stronger than gravity pulled me backwards. I was yanked into a tunnel. Darkness swallowed me whole. It was not the gentle kind of darkness when you close your eyes. No, this was a living, breathing darkness. It wrapped around me like chains. The air smelled of sulfur, like burning rubber mixed with rotting flesh. I gagged, but there was no body to gag with, just a soul drowning in stench. Screams pierced my ears, endless tormented screams of voices crying for mercy, wailing in regret, shouting names of loved ones they would never see again. I covered my ears, but the sound came from inside me. I tried to run, but there was no ground beneath me, just falling, endlessly falling. Flashes of light would appear for seconds, and in them I saw faces, hollow, distorted faces, men and women with empty eyes, gnashing teeth, their flesh burning but never consumed. One of them reached for me, whispering, "Don't make the mistake I made." And then he was gone in the flames. I screamed, "God, help me, please help me." But the only answer was my own echo. Then a voice, not God's voice, but something else, hissed in my ear. "You are ours now. You refuse to forgive. You belong here." Terror shot through me like fire in my veins. In that moment, I remembered every sermon I ignored, every time I clutched my bitterness tighter instead of letting it go. I thought I was justified, but here I was, chained to the very thing I thought was my strength, unforgiveness. It had followed me into eternity, and now it was dragging me down. I looked up, desperate for light, for hope, for something to cling to, but above me was only more darkness. Below me, the flames grew larger, the screams louder. I realized I was falling into the place Jesus warned about, the place I once told myself was too extreme to be real, hell. And the most terrifying thought of all, I wasn't dreaming. I was there.
Just when I thought the flames would swallow me forever, something happened. In the midst of the chaos, I saw a flicker of light.
Faint at first, like the glow of a candle in a storm. My heart leapt. I stretched my hands toward it, desperate, terrified, clinging to even the smallest chance of hope. The darkness hissed, almost alive. The voices around me screamed louder, as if trying to drown out the light. But the light grew brighter, piercing through the suffocating blackness until it shone like the sun at noonday. And then I heard a voice. Not like the mocking whispers of demons, not like the tortured cries of the damned. This voice was powerful, yet gentle, terrifying, yet filled with love. It thundered inside me, yet wrapped around me like a father's arms. Ruth, why have you allowed unforgiveness to chain your soul? I froze. Every excuse I once gave myself crumbled in an instant. The bitterness, the hatred, the anger, it all seemed so small compared to that voice. I tried to speak, but no words came out. My soul trembled. Then the voice continued. It is not yet your time. But hear this. If you return without forgiving, this darkness will claim you. I am giving you one more chance. Go back and tell them that hell is real and that unforgiveness destroys. As the words echoed, the light enveloped me. The flames retreated. The screams grew distant. I felt myself being lifted, pulled upward with a force stronger than gravity, stronger than death itself. In that moment, I saw flashes of my life. Moments when I chose bitterness over peace, hatred over love, vengeance over forgiveness. Each memory stung like a blade. Yet the light held me, covering me with mercy I knew I did not deserve. I wept, not with tears, but with my very soul. Lord, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Teach me how to forgive. And then, as quickly as I had left, I was back. I opened my eyes to find myself on the floor of my bedroom. My husband was kneeling beside me, tears streaming down his face, shaking me, begging me not to die. My sister Esther stood behind him, her hands covering her mouth, crying uncontrollably. I gasped for air, my lungs burning, my heart pounding. I was alive. But I was not the same. The voice still echoed in my spirit. If you return without forgiving, this darkness will claim you. At that moment, I knew God had spared me. He had reached into the pit of hell and pulled me out, not because I was worthy, but because of his mercy. And I also knew my life could never remain the same again.
When I returned from that experience, nothing looked the same. The walls of my bedroom, the faces of my husband and sister, even the sound of my own heartbeat, everything felt like a second chance. The very first words I whispered were, "I forgive you." My voice shook, my flesh resisted, but my spirit knew it was the only way to stay free. David broke down in sobs, holding my hand as though he never wanted to let go again. Esther fell to her knees, her tears soaking the carpet, whispering, "I'm so sorry." Forgiving them did not erase the pain instantly, no. Every day was a battle, but every day I remembered the voice I heard in the darkness. If you return without forgiving, this darkness will claim you. So I chose forgiveness, not once, but daily. Slowly, peace began to flood my heart. I could sleep again. I could pray again.
For the first time in years, I could lift my hands in church and feel the presence of God without the weight of bitterness dragging me down. I started sharing my story with others, warning them about the danger of unforgiveness. People wept, people confessed, people reconciled with family members they hadn't spoken to in years. My pain became my ministry. Today, I see every breath as borrowed mercy. I walk carefully, I love deeply, and I no longer take eternity lightly. Because once you've seen the flames of hell, you cannot live the same. My friend, listen to me carefully. Hell is real. I saw it, I felt it, and I will never forget it. I wasn't sent there for murder or witchcraft. I was sent because I refused to forgive. Jesus said in Matthew 6:15, "But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." No anger, no betrayal, no wound is worth your soul. Release them, forgive them, because eternity is too long and the flames are too real. I beg you, don't wait until it's too late. You've heard my story. Now I want to hear yours. Do you believe hell is real? Have you ever struggled with forgiveness like I did? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your testimony may be the light that helps someone else. And if this story touched your heart, please share it with your friends, your family, anyone who needs to hear the truth. Thank you for walking with me through this journey. May God keep you safe, strong, and ready for eternity. Until next time, stay blessed and stay prepared.